You're listening to the RMTV Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 30 of the RMTV Podcast. Geordie, how you going, mate?
Not too foul, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, good weekend of footy.
Solid. Depending who you support.
Yeah, depends who you support. I guess, Penrith winning, we weren't
Didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Not to that extent though.
But Raiders and Sharks, that one was up in the air.
Sharks just held on and just blew it open.
I think a lot of people, when they heard Strangey was out, they thought, here come Cronulla. And,
I was one of them, and somebody said in our group chat, nah, there's no way. Sharks 0% chance.
Yep.
Sorry, Lukey. I think you got that one a bit wrong, bro.
But yeah, we'll dive into it. The two of the NRLW games we'll touch on. They'll be taking on, respectively, Broncos and the Roosters this week. And we'll touch on a bit of weekly dribble that was. Big news coming out of the Roosters.
Few things coming out.
He's my brother. We'll touch on that one as well. And we'll look ahead to the prelims, mate. Big weekend of sport coming up.
Oh yeah, it's a bit of like a sports OD this weekend, eh?
It's if you're not working all weekend, mate, kick the legs up because you've got 4 NRL games on. 2 of the women's, 2 of the men's. And if you like the AFL, that's also on Saturday, mate. So it's going to be a big one.
And the NRL doing it well. The Saturday night women's game is a Saturday night game, so it won't clash with the AFL. So, it's no excuse not to be watching footy on Saturday night.
I'm surprised Volandis didn't put the time slot at 2 p.m, but...
Maybe he finally realised
NRLW's
not going to get the crowd that the AFL Grand Final will.
No, not 100,000. But yeah, Sharkies, 32 over Canberra, 12 in the nation's capital. I was back in Ricky's boys. I was on the Raiders, and I just thought they were up 12-6 at one stage. I think it was 12-6.
Yeah.
And then it almost looked like they stopped playing footy for a bit. They were just trying to hold on to their lead. And Cronulla just turned it up, didn't they?
For the first 35 minutes of the game, Canberra dominated and Cronulla just held on. But look, to Cronulla's credit, it was kind of a repeat of what happened against the Roosters. Just they took advantage of those 2 tries before half-time, built some momentum off it, and you know what? Credit to them, the Raiders just could not stay with them, eh? Like, even just little, like Billy Burns' try was just, like, to be fair, not take credit off Billy Burns, it was just a weak try, but...
Just up the middle, wasn't it?
Yeah, like Hines and Trindle, that's probably the best game they've played together. Trindle took over all the kicking, and this is why I say Trindle's so underrated for, Hines had 1 kick for 30 metres all game. Trindle kicked over 600 metres for the game. So I think this, and Hines done a bit more with the line break assists and all that than Trindle did. So those 2 firing just worked well together, and the Raiders' right edge defense just struggled. They just couldn't hold them out.
No, they couldn't, and they back-to-back losses for Canberra. Well, they finished the year with 3 losses in a row. So maybe Ricky thinks to himself, we should just let our team play against Dolphins, but they rested a few.
Look, I reckon Strange being out did make a difference because he's a catalyst for a lot of attack. But looking at the way Cronulla played, I don't think even with Strange, the Raiders would have won. He was too good. That Cronulla side was just way too good.
Yeah, but, I think poor Ricky, you could see it full time, even some of the players, Big Papa, they were almost a little bit shocked.
Corey. Big Red had some tears coming. And fair enough, you win the minor premiership, you've been the best team all year, but it's the curse of 50.
It is.
The curse of 50 is still real.
It lives on.
Doesn't matter if you play your reserve grade team. The curse of 50 lives on.
So, yeah, I think where to for Canberra? Are they going to bottle out next year, or are they going to come back bigger and stronger? You can't go any higher than first, but maybe a bit of finals experience.
Bit of finals experience will help, but also, I mean, look, you got to look back at last week and say that last week, against the Broncos, that took a lot out of them. And I think that did play a toll because at times you could see them getting extremely tired. So I think, probably did take a bit out of them. That's when they kind of went they gave up a bit and allowed Cronulla to run over them. But look, I think it's good signs for next year. There's not many changes they're going to have. The only real change will be Jamal Fogarty's obviously leaving, so they'll bring in a new halfback, whether that's Ethan Sanders or there's talks they're looking at signing somebody.
Yeah, potentially. Who would they get?
Well, there was talks of Sean O'Sullivan was thrown around to play halfback for them. There was also talks of him going to the Dogs, but anyway, that's a different story. But yeah, I don't know. Just it'll be interesting to see what the Raiders dish up and if they use this year as a learning point for next year.
And well, Cronulla they move on down to Melbourne. But wow, I tell you what, even like Toby Rudolph, he's been playing well.
It's the best. It's probably the best I've ever seen Rudolph play.
They look very. They've just found this extra bit of motivation. Obviously, Fitzy's telling them, look, no one's given us a chance. Roosters were meant to beat us. Canberra were meant to beat us, and everyone's going to say Storm's meant to beat us. So the biggest challenge is coming up now.
I reckon it's Brayley. Like a lot of I know Fitzy tries to say that there's a lot of disrespect on Hines and Trindle, but I think the most underrated player in that team and the most least recognised player in that team is Brayley. The shit he has done out of dummy half, like that guy will have an Australia jersey on. I reckon he's above Harry Grant at the moment for the Australian jersey.
Ooh, big core. No, he's a young head as well. So
young head, but he just does his job, mate. He keeps it simple. He does his job. He had the captaincy thrown on him. Like, very easily the captaincy could have been given to, like, Hines or Trindle or Kennedy or Rudolph or, you know, one of those boys that's been around for a while. Instead, Fitzy gave it to Brayley, and, mate, they haven't lost under him, so...
What about your boy, Mulatalo?
Fuck him, he's useless. He done... someone sent me a message like, oh, Mulatalo scored a try. I'm like, yeah, like the week before. He had to do nothing for it. Get over him.
Yeah. Catch and pass. Will he get one against Melbourne?
Look,
because remember the last time they went down there, Pappy was getting in his face. Do you remember that?
And Coates.
So it's gonna be good matchup.
I'm just gonna say this. I have put a bet on for the weekend, which was Melbourne to win, but Mulatalo and Coates to both score on each other. So, you know, I reckon he'll score, but I don't reckon it's gonna be a hard work try. It'll be an easy one like he has the last couple of weeks. And hopefully he trips early does it. Yeah. Just for my entertainment.
And Sunday. So Belmore was up and about in the morning and it
was very quiet by about 5 p.m.
Yeah. So Penrith, mate, too classy. I thought some people, even myself, thought maybe Bulldogs can do something here, but just that 40 minutes first half from Penrith was just like ruthless.
Beyond the first sort of 5 or 6 minutes where they took that 2-point shot, it was all Penrith.
I always say this. The teams that take the 2 points first, it's like, what are you afraid of? Just try and go for the try.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest. I was a bit surprised. Like, if you'd gone a few sets, and then I could understand. But also, another thing as well, I hate Dylan Edwards. I absolutely detest him. I make that very clear.
He had a good game.
I don't know. Shit, fuck him. He's useless. But a lot of people were calling for a sin bin on that early one on kick out that led to the penalty. Mate, even I don't think that's a sin bin. And believe me, if I could put that bloke in a sin bin, I would.
I had it on. I was just driving for the first 10 minutes of the game, and I had it on Triple M. And Jimmy Graham.
Mate, he was showing his bias.
Head gaskets. He was pissed off.
Yeah, like, look. It was a penalty. Like, Edwards didn't do much. He didn't, like, reef him out of the way. He pushed him just a little bit off. Definitely a penalty. But people calling for the sin bin on that, like I said, I hate Edwards with a passion. And even I don't think the guy deserved to go to the bin for that one.
So it was the right call from Klein?
Another thing you'll never hear me say a lot of, Klein got it right. Yeah. And he said it early on, straight away to the bunker. The ball was bouncing and beating the players, which it was. Kickout had no idea where the ball was going. And if he didn't get touched, he probably still knocks it on.
Yeah.
So
Dope.
I'm like, you know what? I like that Klein had the balls to say straight up, nah, the ball's bouncing around too much. There's no guarantee. But just, mate, stop clutching for straws. Like, you got absolutely flogged.
Yeah. And, Penrith ran away with it 46-26. Yeah, but by halftime, I thought this could be really scary, 60-odd. But, yeah, maybe Penrith were just counting down the clock and just a few tries came in.
And look, credit to Galvin. Like, I've hung a lot of shit on Galvin this year because I do think it was a dumb decision. And we'll talk about Ciraldo and the bomb he threw into the club a bit later. But I think this proves that anyone who thought Galvin was going to be a halfback, you got rocks in your head. The way he played 6 with that short ball to Preston.
He looked good, didn't he?
That is his spot. He's a 6. If you're a Bulldogs fan, you are asking, when's our next 7 coming?
100%. And, yeah, I thought he had a crack as well, snagged the try. Or did he snag 2?
No, he snagged 1, I think he set 2 up.
Yeah, I thought he had a dig. And then, there was even one stage, I think, there were maybe 3 tries in it. I think the Dogs fans, they started the chance again, thought they had a bit of a sniff, but, mate, Penrith, they were wearing that.
I think Alamotti then scored a try and they all started leaving.
Yeah, yeah. Well, how about Alamotti, mate? He took Jenkins' spot, which we thought was a bit, how's it going? But he had a good game against Dragons for the last game of the year, and he hasn't looked back, mate. He's looking solid.
I think it's one of those situations where it's a bit slack on Jenkins not to have him in the team, but Alamotti has also played that well that he's probably played Jenkins out of his spot. Like, a lot of people forget, that was Alamotti's spot at the beginning of the year, but he got moved around a bit because of injuries like centre, wing, and all that. So I think at the end of the day, like, if Penrith had their full team all year, Alamotti's on that wing spot. So I feel sorry for Jenkins, but also Alamotti's like repaying why he was put in that spot as well.
Yeah. But I tell you, their left edge got peppered by... That's where the Dogs were hitting.
Yeah,
during the game. So if Broncos do their homework right, Tony Staggs, you might want to put him down for a try.
Which is really interesting, though, because when you look at the Broncos attack, and you especially look at what they've done at Canberra, Reece Walsh out to that left or that right edge defence, which is the strong side, is where he done all that damage against Canberra. So it'll be interesting to see if he can go to the right. Rumours that Renault will come back in, which we'll find out soon, but Reynolds on that side as well isn't afraid of taking the line on and getting a short ball off the Stag. So, and Preston Ricky's out there. He's a big body to handle. McLean got banged up a fair chunk.
Yeah, we'll dive into that clash. It's gonna be one. It's gonna be one for the ages, mate.
Ooh,
but yeah, I think Penrith. It's I've seen this all before, and
we've all seen it, sadly.
I hate to admit it. And then the commentators, the 5th premiership's waiting, and you just think, fuck, here we go. Like, I think if they beat Brisbane this week, they win the comp.
Yeah, it's hard to see the Storm or Sharks stopping them.
I just think Penrith, they're so regimented in their system that they just know what to do, no matter what player. And it's not their first rodeo, mate. A grand final, what's that? Just another game.
I think the only thing, if you're a Penrith fan, the only thing you're taking really out of Sunday's game against the Dogs is you're worried about that defense. Like,
that's all it is.
To leak 26 points is not, especially when you had them at 8 after half time. Like, that's not pretty. So maybe that's probably the concern. It's going to be, as you said, shore up that left edge defense. But I don't know. Broncos could do some interesting work to it.
And I've already heard the tickets of them are pretty much gone.
Yeah. The Broncos fans were pretty quick to get on them this morning, as you'd expect.
And the semi-finals for the NRLW, the Knights 34 over the Titans 20, a high-scoring affair, but the Newey girls, they get it done.
Not really a surprise here. Like, kind of figured the Knights would get through on that. They were the third-place team, and they were the third-best team of the year, so I think it hurts. Titans had a few out this year, so it would have been interesting to see how they went had they had a few of the, your Chapmans and all that back, and she wasn't scuba diving with turtles. Yeah.
I think, mate, Newey, decent win, but, like you said, Chapman was out.
They had a few girls injured and playing, with niggles.
I think Titans could push for maybe a top 2, top 4 spot next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, mate, credit to them. We both tipped them.
They just snuck into the 6, so
And Sharkies. I think I tipped the Sharkies in this one.
You did. This one was a surprise, actually. But, probably shouldn't have been a surprise that they'd get up. They were last year's grand finalists.
So 24-18 over the Cowgirls.
Up in North Queensland as well, which I think was probably the more shocking part, is Cowboys, Cowgirls getting done up there. Mind you, just reflective of the men's season anyway, so what's it matter?
Yeah, exactly. The Sharkies back-to-back grand finals for them, so... They could be.
We've got the replay of the 24 grand final, and I was there for the 24 women's grand final, and it was actually a damn good game. So
could they upset the Chookies? They were close. They were in it last year, but we're talking a year ago.
If the team that rocked up 2 weeks ago to Polytech and got done 40-10 rock up, then no. The Roosters have got a couple injuries. Taron Aiken not being there does hurt a little bit, but there's enough talent in that squad that the Roosters can probably manage them, but we'll see what happens. You never know.
The RMTV podcast is brought to you by FDS Eyewear. FDS Eyewear is your one-stop shop for quality, affordable eyewear. With the latest lens technology, and weekly eye testing services, FDS Eyewear provides competitive rates over the larger optical retailers. Visit their store at Wentworthville Plaza, just a short drive from Parramatta.
All right, Dribble of the Week. So the big news coming out of Bondi, mate, it was front page, back page for a few days.
Every page.
So Radley, he's obviously suspended now for the 2026 season for 10 weeks.
Yep.
No pay per game, and copped a $30,000 fine to St. Vincent's Hospital.
Yeah, he's got to make a donation.
Research. So, what do you think of this? What do you think, mate? What do you think about it all? Because there was a bit of controversy with Uncle Nick and what he said at the beginning of the year. You know, if you do this and that, I'm going to kick you out. But
I'll address Uncle Nick's comments because every nutcase and two bob who thinks he knows what he's talking about has been going after Uncle Nick. Now, first things first, and this is a direct quote from Uncle Nick. My view is if somebody's caught doing cocaine or leaning over snorting something, then we're going to get rid of them. Politis told the Sunday Telegraph. Our stance is zero tolerance. We are very strong on it. Trent is very strong on it, meaning Trent Robinson. Now, they are the direct words from Nick. So everyone's taking out, he's got this zero tolerance. Look at what he actually said first, because a lot of people have come at me and gone, gutless, or somebody tried to say L Club. And the club that person supports anyway has 6 rapists that were allowed out. But anyway, sorry, alleged rapists. Sorry, I have to say that. But at the end of the day, right, Radley was not caught doing anything. Radley was not caught snorting cocaine. He was not seen leaning over. He was not seen in possession of it. He was not seen snorting it. He was not seen with it. There is no evidence that he actually took the cocaine. Yes, the messages obviously make it clear that he probably did. But again, there is no proof.
Well, yeah, there's no proof in the pudding. He who knows what he allegedly did?
Exactly.
He could have just thrown it in the bin. He could have sold it.
He could have sold it to a mate. Like,
just don't
not
know.
saying that that's right, but he could have.
Yeah.
But the comments that came out of Nick, now Nick obviously gave Buzz an exclusive and said option 1 was to sack him. So Politis was getting ready to sack him, right? He was prepared to get rid of Victor Radley, who, that's a big call, right? But, this is a direct quote from Nick, but while he has brought the club into disrepute, there is no proof that Victor snorted cocaine. He has not been charged with anything. Yep. The only reason we know this is because some nufty at Queensland Police in Q-Pole has leaked this to the media, to Michael Shamus.
Because that's what I was trying to figure out. I'm like, how did these text messages come out?
Yeah, so someone in Queensland Police has leaked them. That's the only way they could have come out, right? Someone at Queensland Police has leaked them. So...
God, it was a bit of a journo's...
Journo's dream.
Once this comes out, they're licking the lips.
Exactly right. So, do I think Radley's suspension was too harsh, too light? I actually think it's fair. Now, I don't think it's fair based on what the NRL has and other clubs have done to people. Ezra Mam, Latrell Mitchell. However, I think what Nick and Trent have done and what the Roosters organisation have done is put a line in the stand. And Bulldog Richie said this the other day.
Big Bulldog.
Mate, he went after it, and I give him credit for it. They have put pressure on every other club to start dealing with this more seriously.
They've set a standard, I think.
They have. Now, Latrell Mitchell was caught leaning over, snorting a white powder, right? He got a 1-game suspension from the
Was it
the
just
NRL.
1 game?
1 game. Right, he was given I think it was $30,000 fine from the NRL, and whatever fine he was given from South Sydney, 50% of it was suspended anyway, so he didn't have to pay it.
Oh yeah.
And he was caught video evidence, photographic evidence doing it, right? And I said from day dot that was weak as shit.
Well, that puts into perspective, right? What the club's just set, Uncle Nick, the Chooks, what they've just set, right? Now you're going to sit back and think, all right, well, depending on what happens after the courts on October 9th with Brendan Smith, what is South Sydney going to do? It should be way worse than what the Roosters did. You'd think so.
100%. And the thing with Smith is, right, like, Radley asking for drugs is bad, right? That in itself is a crime. But soliciting the event to happen and organising it between the dealer and Radley by Brandon Smith is actually worse than what Radley done. Like legally, from a criminal point of view, That is actually worse.
Yeah.
So he's done that. The betting, I think there's still issues with the betting around Smith.
That was...
Now,
Yeah, reading that, I was like... I saw two sides to it, right?
yeah.
You go.
Well, the first message I don't mind. The first message where a mate just messages him and says, get on, and like I'm at 90, like, I'm starting, and make. But then to tell one of your mates to get on it, and when it was at $91, that's an issue, right? Yeah. Because you have effectively gone. Now, we know this from discussions with people who obviously are involved with NRL clubs, that you are not allowed to even be in like tipping comps because you have insider knowledge.
Yeah.
So giving someone that sort of information, and the second lot of messages is what I'm referring to, where he talks to his mate about getting on it. That to me is the issue, because really, people forget Brendan Smith was about that far from scoring the first try in that game. He was millimeters away. He's bee's dick away.
He had a crack.
He nearly scored that.
He was probably a bit distracted that day because that was the day he forgot his boots. And he had to buy boots last minute. He was probably too busy thinking about scoring first.
His missus went to Warringah Mall and went to Rebel to buy him boots.
Because he probably needed to score first. That's all he was thinking, mate.
That is. And I don't know your thoughts on it, but that's my issue isn't with the first lot of messaging. It's the second lot where he tells his mate to get on it.
Well, I think allegedly the guy getting on it was the drug dealer.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, because I haven't released names.
There was friend A and friend B.
Yeah.
And I think one of the friends was the one who had the supplements.
Okay. That's probably friend A.
Or before the courts. But yeah, so very, very interesting. But it all went down there.
I think there's a lot of pressure because the NRL still hasn't handed down a punishment either, and the NRL won't do anything until the court case is finished.
Yeah, so that would be our post grand final.
Yeah.
The rugby league news, it doesn't quit, does it?
Oh mate, I'll tell you what. Apparently, people in the NRL are pissed off already because they think that this is taken from the limelight of the finals.
Well, I think wasn't there an article done by?
Yeah, I think was it Reedy? No,
Buzzy,
was it? Did Buzzy?
Yeah, it was Buzzy.
Buzzy do it.
Buzzy,
I saw it in brief, and
saying it took away from the crowd.
He's trying to say it took away from the crowd yesterday.
But no, to be fair,
the drug dealers versus drug users. What's the matter? Wouldn't it help? Wouldn't it help?
You'd think so, but I thought they would have cracked 70 or like.
Oh, mate, there was this big run up. 75, 80, 85. Yeah, we're going to do this. And then get 58. Like, 58 is still amazing. Don't get me wrong.
I think Penrith fans are like, can't be asked. Plus
probably saving their money for the grand final or trips to Brisbane.
Plus, it's a Bulldogs game. You got to think safety.
Well, mate, that's where you got to raise up the question. The drug dealers versus the drug users, they can meet the dealers face to face.
Yeah, mate, kill two birds with one stone, you know what I mean?
It was the same as when we played them at Allianz, the dogs at Allianz, it's just the dealers and users.
If that final if that was a Bulldogs Roosters, over 70,000.
If that was Bulldogs Roosters, I reckon it was 60 to 65, eh?
Yeah.
I don't reckon they were ever going to get close to 75. I reckon the media beat that up. Because it's the whole beat up this year of the Dogs have been getting great crowds, which they have been, don't get me wrong. But to be fair, they also had 2 public holiday games like they always do. So they had the Good Friday and the King's Long Weekend against Parramatta. So, it helps get your crowd numbers up. But in saying that, we know it. 70% of them are all bandwaggers because they're winning again.
Yeah.
If they finish 14th next year, guarantee their crowd numbers are back down to being shit like Cronulla's are.
Well, let's dive into the Dogs, mate. Ciraldo, did he play a big impact on the decline of the Dogs season, mate?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we saw it. We saw it in the game against Penrith. Galvin's a 6. He's not a 7.
A lot of chop and changes all year. I think that's what disrupted their season.
So, if you're a Dogs fan, right, you have to go one of two ways here. You have to admit that your coach absolutely royally fucked up by bringing Galvin and Haywood in to start. Or you have to admit that the first half of your season was a fluke. What do you reckon is the go-to there?
It's the first one. I don't think the first half of the season was a fluke.
Neither do I.
They were playing good rugby league football, mate.
And I've had this conversation with so many people who are like, oh yeah, but Sexton was doing nothing. Sexton was doing his job, right? Everyone looks at Nathan Cleary, Sam Walker, Isaiah Katoa, Adam Reynolds, DCE, and they look at these halfbacks that have major impacts on games, things like that. when you have a team like the Dogs do with your Burtons, your Crichtons, your Jacob Prestons, a halfback doesn't need to do much more than organise. And that is what Sexton was so good at. You saw at times yesterday, Sexton was organising them. I also think Reid Marnie's game this year had gone to another level until he was dropped. I feel for him yesterday because he had a bit of a shocker yesterday, but it wasn't his fault. He was getting run through all game. You know.
Penrith are relentless.
Yeah. Leota killed him, but you know what? If that was Hayward there, Hayward would have been limping off like a little cat with what Leota was doing to Marnie. Marnie kept standing up going for the tackles.
He was probably a bit emotional as well last game for the club.
Well, yeah, once they lost, you could see that it took a bit of a toll on him. But I just think you have to go one or two ways with the Bulldog season. Either Ciraldo screwed it up by bringing Galvin in, Galvin and Hayward into the starting lineup, dropping Sexton and Marnie. Or you then have to go, well, the first half was a fluke. You got to go one of those. They're the only two logical options. And I don't think the first half was a fluke.
Yeah. We'll see what the Doggies dish up next year. Mate, they might go one better. They might finish first or second, or they could be on the decline a little bit.
As long as they get a halfback. Genuinely, Galvin needs to play 6 if they're going to be successful. He can't play 7.
See what happens, eh? And so this weekend, AFL Grand Final, mate. But they like to do a week off. They do their week off after the season, and then that's it, I think. Yeah, and then straight into the ground.
Yeah, so they do their final regular season round, have a week off, and then start their finals.
Yes.
So it's been tossed up about should the NRL do that, which would mean the season would have to start a week earlier or something like that. It depends on what side of the post you sit on resting players. If you agree or like resting players, then you think it's a great idea. If you don't like the idea of resting players, for example, the last, I think, 6 games of the year, the Bulldogs lost every single one apart from that game against Penrith when they played Penrith's New South Wales Cup side.
Yeah.
I think if you really need to give a week off instead of resting players, I think it's better because the product that you put out on the field is great.
Yeah.
So, for example, there were Penrith fans, and I think it was Reedy might have written this story. There were Penrith fans who drove 600 kilometres for that Penrith Bulldogs game because they looked at it, they circled it when it's going to be a cracking game, let's do it.
Yeah.
Only to see Penrith's New South Wales Cup side. So that's a lot of money, time off work, things like that they've spent to come out for that. So I think for the sake of the fans to not rest players, it's a great idea. But also it's a very it takes away from how tough our game is. Our game's tough. It's meant to be week in, week out. You go hard. But we've also seen examples where it probably would have worked, like the turnaround that the Raiders had where they nearly had to play a Friday night after a Sunday to end the year.
Yeah, Ricky, he wanted his Sunday, got his Sunday, and then the short turnaround. I think the NRL, well, I'll touch on this one first, but yeah, I think the week off's good. I think you have a week off there, right, where you could play an All-Stars game, or you could do I think I spoke about this a few weeks ago, like a Legends game, something.
You know
Just fill it up. Just do a game on a Friday night, one game, and then the finals. Build it up.
You know what a bit? Just thinking of what you just said there. You know how we do the PM13?
Yeah.
But it's always the teams that are out of contention?
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, I reckon.
Do a PM13 of the bottom 9 out of the bottom 9 teams and let them play a game against, because normally against PNG or something like that.
Why not?
Do that. How good? Actually, that'd be really good, eh?
And just, do other shit. I don't know. Do a bloody... I think soon there's a Jimmy Graham's podcast. They're doing a media run.
Yeah, there's a media sprint going on.
Like a sprint, or maybe a sprint for the players. Spice it up. But the other thing I was going to touch on is I think after this season, I think Abdo and V'landys are going to have a look at a few things. I think, yes, the week off. There's just every time, at this time of year, there's always the question, day grand final, right? I'd love a day grand final. I think I know we lost in 2010 against Saints, but how good was it? Day granny. I like it. And then they're probably going to look at Cronulla as well.
I think they need to look at Cronulla, definitely.
Look, 13,000 shit out.
12-8, thank you.
Yeah. So
12-8 being a sellout's a bit embarrassing.
They're going to have a few things to look at, and I reckon you tell them, do the week off. I think it will be better for all the clubs.
I like how you brought up the day grand final. Now, I'm lucky enough, I'm old enough that I lived through the era of both day and night grand finals. I think a twilight grand final. Now, the reason I say twilight is I'm an old school guy who I'll go sit there for all 3 games. I'll go watch the Challenge Cup between like New South Wales Cup winners, Queensland Cup winners. I'll watch that. I'll go watch the NRLW, then I'll go watch the NRL.
Yeah.
So I think if you're starting the NRL at, let's just say 5 p.m., right? 5
Because
p.m.
you got to think daylight saving. I think that kicks in the night before.
Exactly. Or is it the night before or the night of? Like the Sunday. I think it's the Sunday night / Monday morning. So actually, no. It might be the Sunday morning. Yeah, but I like the idea of the grand final finishing under lights, but not starting under lights. I love that. Just the idea of starting very late afternoon, get sunlight, and then it just goes into a nighttime game.
So a bit best of both worlds, you reckon?
Yeah, like
I don't mind that.
Started at 4:30. Right? So if you started at 4:30, let's just say theoretically with entertainment and all that, you're probably starting the Queensland Cup, New South Wales Cup game at say maybe 10:30.
Yeah.
Then I think it'd be like 1 o'clock you do the women's game. That gives you time for your presentations, everything. The big reason a lot of people want the daytime grand final back is one of the kids. We want the kids watching the game because they're the future supporters, players, etc. But also, I don't know about you, but if I'm watching a game at home and I don't have to go anywhere, or if I've travelled to a core for the games, I've had a gutful by the time first grade starts.
Yeah.
I know last year, for example, me, Luke, and a couple other people went and we'd had a gutful by the time first grade started because we watched the Challenge Cup and women's.
All of them.
So I understand, you don't want to be trashed when first grade's on, but I like the best of both worlds. There's something about under lights finish.
Yeah.
It just gets my heart.
You could start it at like 6:37. The first half would be light, and then the second half would be dark.
I'd go a bit earlier. I would genuinely, I would start it at the latest at about 5:30.
Yeah. Pete Overton, he can pull the brakes for one night.
Yeah.
The game can replace the news, mate.
Exactly right. Like, and at the end of the day, like, with the amount of Channel 9s that there are now, surely 9-2 or whatever it is can do the news. And
9Gem.
Yeah, 9Gem can have the news and normal 9. And then do like a news bulletin afterwards. I think it'd be great for the game. We see the numbers that the AFL Grand Final gets, and they're expecting to beat their numbers this year as well.
That's the AFL. They're showcasing their product on the AFL day. Like, you're getting people watching the game, some for the first time. A lot, people from all around, right? And obviously Snoop Dogg's performing.
Yeah, to be honest,
their AFL granny's kind of like the way NRL with their state of origin.
Yeah.
Right? So they only have the one game. They're not playing reserve grade before it. That's like the ground is in slick condition for the one game.
Yeah, and that's the difference a lot of people need to remember is we play 3 games in a day, right? And I think it's important to play those games because I think it's a great opportunity to showcase New South Wales Cup and Queensland Cup where there's some like Jaden Beryl who's signed with Cronulla, but he was a nobody in the NRL world. He played in that game for Burleigh Bears from Queensland against Newtown Jets when Newtown scored on the siren. Absolute cracking game in 2019. If you haven't seen the finish to that game, go watch it. It's fucking incredible. But straight after that game, 2 weeks later, he had an NRL contract to come up to play for Cronulla.
Well, I think that's what I've just figured it out, mate. The AFL, they showcase it to the world. The NRL is showcasing to the rugby league fans, showing the lower grades.
And look, to be fair, let's be fair. Not a lot of fans are completely convinced by the NRLW, and that's fine. There's some people that don't like it. There's some people who aren't sure. But let's be honest, if we get a Broncos-Roosters grand final this year,
the crowd will be healthy.
It'll be a healthy crowd for one, but two, especially if the Broncos make the grand final, because a lot of their fans will come up early for it. But the quality of women's football every year is getting better, especially in those two teams. It reminds me of 2000s football. There was none of the bullshit wrestling. There was none of the dumb shit. It was just traditional, good, hard football. And I think when people see that side of it, they gain more respect for the women's game because that's what it's doing. It's growing and growing each year.
Yeah, 100%. Another question before we wrap it up. Do you think, as a sporting fan, right, would you like to see the NRL and AFL Grand Final on the same weekend?
I love it.
I love it as well.
2023. Remember, we had the AFL Grand Final. We had the Lions and
Collingwood. Yep.
And then the very next day we got the Broncos and Penrith playing in the Grand Final. The whole idea, and look, Melbourne get a 3-day weekend, and then we get the 3-day weekend the weekend after.
Yeah,
well, actually, they get it as well, which is annoying.
True, because the Monday is
the Monday for
national
us.
Public holiday.
Exactly right. So
but Melbourne get their...
So they get the Friday off before the Grand Final. So this week is a 4-day week for them. Next week they work a full week, and then the week after they get a 4-day week. Imagine if they just turned that into a 4-day weekend.
That'd be good, mate.
Friday to Monday off.
And you could imagine you'd have a lot of people going away for the weekend.
Yep.
2 of the biggest games on across the country.
I mean, for example, like tomorrow or this weekend when the AFL Grand Final's on, I'll be playing cricket, so I won't be able to watch it.
Yeah.
But I can at least watch highlights later, or if we're batting and I'm not out in the middle, I'll watch it on my phone. But it would just be good to have a great long weekend. Saturday, you maybe, if you're an NRL fan, Saturday's your quiet day to just sit at home, have a couple of drinks, watch the AFL. Sunday's your big day where you get mates over. Vice versa, if you're an AFL fan, Saturday's your day. It'd just be awesome and just see the worlds blend in on a weekend. How good would that be?
That'd be good. It's like you said, it's happened in the past, but I think the past few years, the weekends haven't matched up.
Yeah.
So we'll see what comes out of next year, eh?
I reckon so. I reckon it'll be a good one.
The RMTV Podcast is brought to you by The Legal Problem Solver. The team brings over 25 years of experience in wills, probate, estates, conveyancing, property and commercial law. Connect with The Legal Problem Solver on LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram.
And all right, let's dive into it, mate. Finals week 3. So I'll
Prelims
say
galore.
I'll say it now. This weekend's it's going to shit on the finals that we just saw last weekend.
Oh yeah.
This Storm Sharks, they've got history there. It goes back to 2016. And I think Sharkies have a decent little record down at Amy Park.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. But
they have a decent record against Melbourne, but not so much at Amy Park.
I feel like every time the Sharkies versus Melbourne, they give it a red hot crack. And look, Melbourne $1.45, Sharks $2.76. Rumour has it Jerome Hughes may return. He's ticked a few boxes.
He's back. Pappy's back.
Oh dear. Was Sharks grand final in Canberra? Was that it?
I don't. Okay, put it this way. I'm backing Melbourne to win because I think the week off, if Melbourne didn't have the week off, they would have gone out in straight sets. Having the week off, I think, was what they needed because they needed to rest, recover some injuries and stuff like that. So I reckon Storm will win. But man, I tell you what, I said it to you boys today. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a Pappy field goal to win it. This game will
really
be
close.
I'm putting this up that this game will be better than the Broncos-Raiders game.
Ooh, the Storm Sharks.
I reckon this is going to be a more intense game. Raiders blew out 28-12. I don't think it's happening in this game. It will never get more than 10 to 12 points apart.
I think these will be very low scoring affairs.
Yeah.
I think Storm will just be too strong. They've had that week off. It's helped them. And I think they're just going to have a little bit of motivation coming off last year. It felt like yesterday, mate, but Storm Penrith grand final from last year. You could tell Melbourne were hurting. Grant was hurting. And this is their moment Friday night. They're probably going to get a good crowd there.
Oh, yeah.
On the eve of the AFL Granny. So, yeah, I think they get it done. If I'm going to score prediction, I'm not going to go field goal. I normally do a lot of field goals.
Yeah, I stole that from you. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I say Melbourne 16, Cronulla 10. I think.
See, I would, if it's not a field goal, I would be talking 16-12, 16-14. I just can't split. And look, respect to Cronulla, they've played 2 amazing games. Does it continue? Does the road through Melbourne?
Does your mate score?
I've put my money on that him and Coates will score.
No, you all right.
But I've still got Melbourne winning though. Still got Melbourne winning. I think the week off. If Melbourne didn't have that week off, they were done. But that week off was what they needed to reset after a few tough weeks.
Yeah. And I was saying this to me, mate. I think every week of the finals there's been at least one upset, right? The upset, I'm back in the upset on Sunday. Broncos, Penrith.
But funnily enough, the upset is not what everyone would think it'd be, is it?
Well,
You'd think going to Suncorp on a Sunday.
Well, Penrith are favourites, $1.73, and Broncos $2.12. Look, I'll be honest with you, Penrith, mate. If you ever seen that meme, I'm starting to get a little bit shaky, mate. I'm starting to get a little bit shaky. They could be going for their 6th grand final. All right. If they play like they do against Dogs, but then again, their defense was a bit shaky, mate. It was a bit shaky.
Renault back as well, and talks of Mam even being back, maybe.
Oh, Broncos at home. The crowd's going to be 90% Broncos fans.
They will get 50,000+, they're guaranteed.
Yeah. On a Sunday arvo, dry track. Bronco quick team, quick up the middle, fast. Payne Haas, he's going to be in for a big one.
No Carrigan though. That's
the thing. Look, Raiders had no Strange. Was that the difference? Broncos don't have Carrigan. But like Penrith just showed they can play on a fast track on a Sunday arvo too. So I don't care who you're backing, but I hope Broncos win, mate.
Yeah,
because I've credit to Penrith, mate. They've done well, they've had their fun, but if not now. When if they go 5, Pete, they may as well just go 10, Pete.
If they beat the Broncos, I think, and you and I discussed this earlier, I think they win the comp. But I think the Broncos and Madge will give them a kindly reminder of what happened in 23, just as a, hey, don't let this happen again, boys.
That's what I think. That's why I reckon it's going to be, I'm backing Broncos. I'm going to blow out a little bit in the end.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon Broncos, they'll 22-16.
Oh, that's not a blowout. That's a bloody. That's a 6-point game, mate.
No, but I mean, as in, like, I think the first half might be like
a 6-all,
and then
okay.
Yeah. So that's what I reckon.
Yeah, I was thinking like a 26-18 sort of thing was where I was sitting. So I'm pretty much close to the same thought process as you.
The week off helps them as well.
Yeah.
But then again, like, fuck, Penrith don't even need a week off, do they? They went through Warriors. Bulldogs is a bit of a training run.
Yeah, but again, that Bulldogs offense wasn't good enough to score 26 points the way they were playing. So that's a worry if you're a Penrith fan, especially with what we saw Reece Walsh do after he came back from the sin bin against Canberra. Like, that will scare you. And if it's true that Reynolds and Mam are back, you got to remember what those two done in 23 against a damn good Penrith side. They kicked them to death, especially Reynolds. So don't be surprised to see Mam starting on the bench and come on as an impact later in the game.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. It's going to be, we're going to be watching here, the RMTV.
Yeah, we'll have an RMTV watch party.
Yeah, we'll be it's going to be good. Hopefully, it lives up to its hype.
It's got to. It needs to.
Hopefully, just Broncos win. I wouldn't look a Broncos Storm Grand Final without any Sydney teams doesn't bother me, mate. They'll still.
I'm happy for a Broncos Storm Grand Final because I think. At times, the Broncos have been crap, but over the last sort of 6 weeks, they've shown why they deserve to play. And I also think if it's a Broncos Storm grand final, I think Storm might get their win that they deserved last year.
You reckon the Broncos are going to lose another GF?
I don't know. I just have a feeling. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, that round 27 game, the Broncos shut down Storm.
Yeah.
But they won one, yeah. So... A lot will come down to how people pull up out of these games. But in saying that, they have to get there first. So eyes on this weekend, see if they can get there first.
The NRLW, the prelims. So Chookies, they're short price, $1.15 against Cronulla, $5.50. And this is at
Polytech Stadium, Gosford, on Saturday night.
We may as well just call them the Central Coast Roosters.
Well, look, the plan was to actually play this game at Allianz because Allianz started to get ripped up. They can't.
Yeah.
So Gosford is the home away for home for the Roosters and for the girls, especially. They play a lot of their home games up there.
I think a lot of the players are from Around the Central Coast.
Yeah, well, Koenig, Jamie Fressard, who might be playing. Aiken's a Central Coast girl, even though she's a Queenslander. Don't know how that works. Izzy Kelly. Like, there's a lot that have come from that region. So a lot of great women's footballers have come from there as well. But Roosters 13 plus.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go Roosters 1 to 12. I think Sharks will have a very big crack, but I think that class of the Chooks will...
better than the other week when they got flogged 40-10 with probably their best side on paper.
Maybe that week off, maybe, I don't know, a bit of complacency. We'll find out, but I'll be tuning in, mate. It'll be a cracker.
Oh, yeah. Saturday night, it'll be good.
Yeah, that'll be grand final day, mate. Like I said, mate, Roosters going to win the comp. I was telling people.
Yeah, no one believed us. It's like, we didn't say which comp, but it's still a comp.
Exactly. And Bronx.
Suncorp doubleheader on Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, they're double-headering it at Suncorp.
Wow.
To be honest.
Before or after?
Before.
Yeah,
I love that the NRL have done this. I love it. I think it is so smart.
It'd be dumb not to, right?
Well, it's the NRL. They're not known for making great decisions. So, did you not see Ezra Mam's suspension?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's right. I mean, yeah, so $1.20 the Bronx and Knights. The Knights $4.50. Can Nui cause an upset?
If there was going to be an upset this weekend in terms of the women's game, I think the Knights are more likely to do it than the Sharks. That Knights team probably doesn't deserve to be $4.50, but that Broncos team deserves to be $1.20.
Yeah, they've been class since the...
I mean, they outscored the Roosters this year. The only reason they didn't finish first was because they lost to the Roosters in a 30-26 shootout.
Well, there you go. So, yeah, I'm back in the Bronx as well. I'll go 1 to 12. I think...
I think they'll blow it out. I think it'll be close, and then they'll just blow it out at the end, 13 plus.
Yeah, and then I think have the Broncos Roosters faced each other in the GF a couple. Maybe one. I think maybe the first season.
It was season 2 or 3 they versed in the grand final because season 1 was the
it was only 14.
Was the Dragons and Broncos.
Right.
But that was when like Izzy Kelly and Jess Surgis and all those were playing for the Dragons. Then they saw the light, aka Jess Surgis dumped Lomax and wanted to get out of St George.
God,
Waiting for Sportsbet to pull out the anytime try scorer odds on that so I can throw some money into those 2 games because I reckon there's going to be a lot of points scored.
Yeah, I might make a few multis this weekend. We'll see what happens.
You send me yours, I'll send you mine.
Yeah, of course. But I'll tell you what, mate, you want to talk about multis? I'll watch the AFL, but I'll put a multi on it. Entertain myself a bit more, right?
Give you a reason to like sit through it and watch it.
Yeah. So the 2 games. First one,
Collingwood and Brisbane.
Was it the first? No, the first. I think who was the first game?
Oh,
Geelong versus Hawks.
Hawthorn, yeah.
So I'll put a multi on that one. Void, guy goes off. It was a 9-leg multi, paying $900, and I got them all right, but the one void, so it got voided.
Honestly, do you reckon they should, like, betting agencies in that situation should just change your odds and, like, get rid of that one line and change it to the 8?
I mean...
Or give you the option.
You'd hope so, right?
Give you the option, be like, you can either take this multi now on as an 8-leg multi or void it, up to you.
And it's like, I get my $20 back. It's like, okay. And then the next day, Collingwood versus Brisbane, put a multi on. And the old fella, Scott Pendlebury for Collingwood, gets subbed off. Void.
Yeah, like a minute in.
So I'm like, you know what? I'll chuck another multi on for the granny and we'll see if there's another
see if you get voided or not.
But
maybe the AFL just doesn't like you betting on it.
Yeah, maybe, mate. I dabble with a little bit, but it's hard. I think it's easier to win a multi on the NRL.
Yeah, it's a bit more clear and concise than the AFL in terms of like disposals and all that.
Yeah, I mean, rugby league's a more clear and concise game, mate.
Well, so you know Daniel Bryan, the wrestler.
Yeah.
So he was in Sydney when we had the Roosters Rabbits game at Allianz, right?
Yes,
He was on SCN
with
with Fletch and I think it was Joel Kane with Sugar Cane. And they asked him what's better, rugby league or AFL, and he said rugby league. And they're asking him why, and he said AFL looks like they've written out these really concise and clear rules and then just given them to a 5-year-old to do what you want with it. And I'm like, now that I've heard him say that, I'm like, I get that. I get that a lot.
Look, it's a very unique sport, mate. It's a Victorian sport, and look, I played it for 4 years. I know the rules. I can watch it, right? It doesn't bother me.
So can I.
But I grew up with rugby league. It's an easier sport to get. But I get both sides of the argument. It's like, it's just I can watch this easier, blah, blah, blah.
The best way I've put it is, right, there's a few ways to go. If you're live, AFL is better than NRL sometimes because AFL, a lot happens off the ball, whereas NRL, nothing happens without the ball.
Yeah.
If you're at home, it's better to watch NRL on TV than AFL on TV.
It's right, because when you're at the game, it's like, you're watching and stuff, but it's made for telly, the commentators. It's just such end-to-end, the cameras. That's all you got to do.
Exactly right. But it's also, I will always say this, when people try and compare AFL and NRL, you can't do it. AFL is all about cardio and speed. NRL is all about strength and endurance.
It's like comparing like NBA to NFL.
Yeah, it's just so different. Yeah.
So anyway, mate, we're going to look forward to some good games coming up this weekend.
Shall be good. And then the watch party. Maybe we need to throw the NRLW in there as well.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, eh?
Might have to.
And then the weekend after, the granny.
Granny weekend.
See what happens, eh? Hopefully it's not on a Storm Penrith GF, but I did last year after Penrith beat them. I'm like, you know what? It's probably going to be Storm Penrith again.
First words I said when Storm lost were Storm are winning it next year, so I've got to live by that sword and die by that sword.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in to the RMTV Podcast. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe from Jody and I.
Have a great night, guys.